All right, I'm going to have you pause, okay? So go back to the first slide. If you got a sticker, means you got all three right. I didn't get all the way to the end, but good job, okay? But if you didn't, let's go through them. Most of you did pretty good on that first one. This is straight up multiplication. So I can rearrange this in any order I want to. So I take the 2, I multiply it times the 5, and then I take the x to the third and I multiply it times the x to the fourth. And when we multiply with variables, we add their exponents. So you should have gotten 10x to the 7th. For the second one, anything that's raised to the 0 power is what? 1. So that whole first parentheses becomes 1. And then when I've got 4x to the negative 2, that means 4 gets the negative 2 as its exponent, and so does the x. So then the negatives move them to the bottom, and I'd get 1 over 4 to the second, x to the second, and that 4 to the second becomes 16, okay? A lot of you did 8 there, so be careful. Like 4 to the second becomes 8. I mean, you wrote it as it becomes 8. It doesn't. It becomes 16, okay? For 3, the 2 and the 5 don't have a negative exponent, so they stay just where they are. If that was something that could be simplified, let's say it was like 2 over 8, I would simplify that, but 2 and 5 don't, like, neither goes into the other, okay? And then your exponents, so I had an x to the 5th in the top, and then I had an x to the 2nd in the bottom. So if you remember your rules, when you're dividing, you do what with the exponents? Subtract. I would take the bigger, subtract the smaller from it, and put it where the bigger one was. So that gives me x to the 3rd in the top. Let's say you forget your rules. If it's x to the 5th, how many x's are there? If it's x to the 5th, there's 5 x's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And in the bottom was x to the 2nd. That means there's 2 x's. And then we can cross them out one at a time. So if you forget your rules, you can always expand it. Do you want to do something like that on like x, y to the 6 is going to take you a lot longer to do that. You don't want to do it. But if you forget your rules, you can always do it. But the rule on exponents is you take the bigger exponent, subtract the smaller, and put it where it was bigger. Okay, so in this case, it was in the top for the x. And for the y's, it was in the bottom because it's y to the 6th and y to the 2nd. Questions on any of those three? Okay, I'm going to go over to this one. And then I'll stop and I'll let you keep working. So number 4, same thing with the 2/5. That 2 and the 5 have no exponents on them that need them to move or simplify. Have a good day. All right, so then the x to the negative 3 has a negative on its exponent. That one's got to move. It moves to the bottom. And then the y to the negative 3 has a negative on it, so it moves to the top. So I've got 2, the y that was originally there, the y to the 3rd that moved to the top, and in the bottom I've got 5, the x squared that was originally there, and the x to the 3rd that moved to the bottom. And then what do we do when we multiply with the exponents? Add them. So in the numerator you get 2y to the 4th, and in the denominator you get 5x to the 5th. Now to me, 5 gets super tricky because there's negatives on the exponents on the inside, and then there's the negative on the outside. And technically, there's more than one way to do this. One option is switch everything on the inside, but keep the signs as is, and that will eliminate the negative on the 2. But you still have negatives on the inside that you're then going to have to move. So I would recommend instead distribute the negative 2 to each individual term. So we're raising each to that power. Then, if after you've distributed, you've got a negative on that exponent, now we move it. Otherwise, you're moving, and then you might have to move again. Okay? It can be done both ways, but it gets a little bit confusing the first way. So my advice is to move it. So then I'd get 2 to the negative 2. X, when I raise a power to a power, what happens? Multiply. So this one, raised to a negative 2, means I get x to the 6. Now I don't have to move that one. And then I'd get y to the 2nd raised to the negative 2nd. So it's y to the negative 4th. And then the negative 2 gets on the exponents in the bottom too. So 3 to the negative 2. X to the 2nd raised to the negative 2 is x to the negative 4th. Y to the negative 4th raised to the negative 2 is y to the 8th. So from here, which ones have to move? All the ones that have a negative, right? So 2 to the negative 2 goes to the bottom. X to the 6 stays in the top. Y to the 4th goes to the bottom. And then from the bottom, 3 to the negative 2 goes to the top. X to the negative 4 goes to the top. And y to the 8th stays in the bottom. With me so far?
Yep.
So then what's 3 squared? 9. X to the 6th times x to the 4th?
10.
X to the 10th, good. 2 squared?
4.
4. Y to the 4th times y to the 8th?
12.
Good. So take it one step at a time. Like, don't allow yourself to get overwhelmed by the negatives on the inside and the negatives on the outside. Distribute and then move what's negative. Okay, keep working. Okay. So what's the difference between 6 and 7? Like, what operation changed?
Addition.
We went from multiplication to addition, right? So that's why these are treated completely differently. On the left, you've got multiplication. On the right, you've got addition. So with multiplication, I could literally just take this and I could extend it over the whole thing, and I could say this is 12 times 27. Underneath that root, it's the same. That has the same value because they are both square roots and I'm multiplying. So then when I go to break them down into the factor tree, I could break 12 down 2 and 6, 2 and 3. I can break 27 down 3 and 9, 3 and 3. And then all the ends, right, all the prime factors are what I'm looking for to see if there's a pair. Because it's a square root, I need 2 of that number to go to the outside. There are 2 2s here, so one's going to go to the outside of the square root. There's 2 3s here, so one's going to go to the outside of the square root. And then there's another set of 3s, so that one goes to the outside of the square root. I take all those numbers, multiply them together. 2 times 3 is 6, times 3 is 18. And then if there was another number left underneath the root, that would stay under the root. But there's not, which means this simplifies. Which means if I multiplied out 12 times 27 and actually square rooted it, I'd get 18. But you don't want to do that, okay? It's a big number. All right, then I go to 7. And again, this is different because it is addition. So it's 3 root 12 plus 2 roots 27. In order to add or subtract radicals, they have to be the same number underneath. As it is, I can't combine these. But I'm going to break them down the same way I just did. So I'm going to say this is 2 and 6, which is 2 and 3. The pair of 2's this time is going to go to the outside, but there's already a number there. So we multiply it by what's there. This becomes 6 root 3 because 3 didn't have a pair. I do the same thing with the other side. This was 3 and 9, 3 and 3. And the pair of 3's goes to the front as 1 3. Multiplied by what's there, I get 6. And the 3's left under, so it stays under the root. And now only because these are both root 3 can I add them. It has nothing to do with the number on the front. It has to do with the fact that they both have to be square roots and they both have the same number underneath. So I add the 6 and the 6, I get 12 root 3. Questions on either of those?
Can I take a picture?
Of course. So when it changes, when 8 changes, because now it's a cube root instead of a square root, that number on the outside, which is called an index. On a square root, it's a 2. You don't see it. It's implied a 2. But when it's a cube root, you see it. That's telling you you need 3 of the same number in order to take it to the outside. So I broke apart the 32, and I ended up with 5 2's at the end. So all the way down here, you got 5 2's. So I need 3 in order to bring one to the outside. I take those 3, I cross it out, I bring it to the outside. Then there's 2 left. I can't do anything with these because there's not a third. So these 2 stay underneath the radical. With the variables, you can either, if you understand what you're doing, take the exponent on the, or the index and divide it into the exponent. However many times it goes in a whole number, so 3 goes into 7 twice with 1 remainder. The twice tells you you can bring that many to the outside. The remainder tells you how many you stays underneath. If that confuses you, then literally draw out your 7x's and do what we do with the numbers. Cross out 3, 1 goes to the outside. Cross out another 3, another goes to the outside. And then you've got 1 left under that stays there. Same thing with the y's. There were 6 of them, so we could cross through 3 twice. So 2 y's went to the outside. And the way you write the answer is this. 2x to the second, y to the second. And it's super important that you keep this index because without it, you change the value. Okay? It has to stay on there. That 3 has to stay. For number 9, we're going to distribute the negative. So it changes all the signs. We're going to combine our like terms. So there was 2 to the 4th. I did 4, positive 4 and negative 8. I got negative 4x to the 4th. Then 24x squared minus 2x squared is 22x squared. Negative 3x to the first was the only x to the first, and negative 1 and positive 7 becomes positive 6. Now, the easy part is identifying the bottom if you know the vocab, so just make sure you understand it. The degree is the highest exponent. The highest exponent is to the fourth. The leading coefficient is the number on the front of that exponent, which is the negative 4. The negative has to be part of it. And the constant is the number that doesn't have a variable, which is positive 6. Watch your signs there. If that was a minus 6, it would be negative 6. Questions on those? Okay, and then the last slide is your foiling or your multiplication, okay? For 10, we're just going to distribute each term in the front to each term in the second. Multiply them out, combine your like terms, make sure you go in standard order, meaning highest exponent down to smallest. And then 11, if you distribute the exponent, it's wrong. Don't do it, okay? You have to expand and FOIL that out. That is 3x minus 2 times 3x minus 2. And then we FOIL it out and combine our like terms. Questions? So 10 questions on tomorrow's quiz, no calculator, okay? When you come in, I'll answer some questions on the quiz review, which is posted. That's what this is. And the solutions are posted. So if you've got questions, feel free to ask. And then, so I'll answer a couple questions, and then you'll take your quiz. If you have a lot of questions, I'm in room 402 in the morning. You can come up and ask questions, okay? Don't come in here unprepared tomorrow. Let's not start the year off bad. Yeah. Mm-hmm.